Fortune Cookies shot my bullets, and in my comment I said I shot a couple 1.9 groups. What I didn't realize was I confused myself. I used on target like Johnny does, and the number I read I didn't realize was the MOA, and instead of the max distance. So, well, slight difference. Although some of the groups were in the 2.2 to 2.6 inch range, some of them, and then some of them were in the 3 to 3.5 inch range, but we don't talk about those. What we talk about is the 1.6 inch group. That's the one we focus on. Yeah, that's a ticket. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I should actually be pretty happy about these because my polymer stock flexes a bit when I cheek weld. So confidence, yeah, and having to, be careful about that. I talked to Kenny. He says this polymer doesn't have that problem, so I'm gonna, just get a different lower, and that should help. Yeah, I didn't realize I never noticed it till I put a scope on my rifle and then set it in a bench rest, and then, wow, a little too much and things would just move just enough, Like, wow, okay, things are off here. So, I guess I should be happy with the groups I shot. Now, thing is, my range is a little wonky. I wish I had a rangefinder so I knew exactly what I was shooting at, because I could swear last year they had the distances in meters. This year they're in yards, but they're not typical. Starts off 25, 50, then it goes 55, 90, and 115. Anyone explain that? I can't. But Kenny turned me onto an app, the one he uses for distances on his phone, and when I manually plotted it, the 90 became 75 meters, which the math doesn't add up, but the satellite, that's what that came out. And the 115 came out to be 100 meters. So that's kind of what I'm going with, but is that really it? I don't know. But all of it could be wrong for all I know. As old as the place is, you wouldn't think they'd be running metric system, but metric system's been around forever. Who knows what they were thinking way back then. It's been around, the place has been around longer than I have. And, well, I don't know. I should probably call, people in charge and say, what's the deal here? The place is kind of, who knows? Who knows anymore? But back to this. I replaced my press because the old one, the linkages were getting worn because learning, making mistakes, getting things stuck, using too much pressure. Yeah. I decided to retire it, replace it, and give my new my new point form base punch the best chance it could. Plus, less chances of damaging it. I've had it for a couple weeks, but I was processing brass, which the brass I used, I'm talking about, was before I reprocessed things. I bumped the shoulder back a couple thousandths. I found some bad brass in the bunch where at the webbing it wouldn't size down. So off that went. Did a lot of these. So I'm guessing neck tensions and stuff may have been a little off. It's hard to say because I originally processed it when I first started, and stored it, and you learn things over time. You go, wait. Plus, I am doing it so it'll run in 2 rifles. The head spacing on the rifles are 2 thou difference, so not a big deal, but I have to go for the tighter one. And little things. So, boy, I've gotten off track here, haven't I? Yes, I have. All right. This base bunch is designed differently. It's made of a different material, and the old one was, this part was a 2-piece. It was a hollow tube with the chamfering for the boat tail, and it had a steel slug inside to form the base. This one is all machined out of 1 piece, so hopefully it's more robust. The other one, what happened was it would spread a little bit and then it would crack. So hopefully, being 1 piece instead of hollow with a insert, it will be stronger. Now there is another difference, and I have to show you the comparison. Okay, now for the challenge of focus. Oh. Wow, not too bad. All right, old one on the left, new one on the right. See any differences? Yeah. There's some minor differences there, huh? What doesn't really show up is this flat ring is a little wider in this new one as well. So I'm hoping that it will disperse muzzle blast a little better and gain some initial stability. At least that's what I'm hoping to see. Also, what you can't see is the new ones are a little longer. Now the base is the only thing that's changed, so this base is a touch longer. I think somewhere between 10 and 15 thou. So let's see, use the old bullet comparator here. There's variance, so let's see. Alright, the old one is 3.92. They've been average around 3.95 or so. And the new one, and these tend to be a little more consistent in length than the old ones. Around 408. Yeah, they've been between 405 and 410, and the other ones have been averaging 395, so a little higher, a little lower. So what will all that have to do with ballistic coefficients, aerodynamics? I don't know. Hopefully it'll be better. I haven't really gotten any testing with these in because the weather was ridiculous this week. It was, heat stroke heaven. It was pushing 90 degrees and 90% humidity. So, stay inside, hug the air conditioner, and, keep yourself alive. Oh well, it happens. So, yeah. Like I said, last week I ran out of daylight since I got a late start. So I only got up, started at 17.5 grains, half grain increments. I got up to 21 grain before I had to stop. So the velocities were low. They were in the 2300s, I think, you know. Yeah. But it's a start. I had yeah, okay, tongue-tied. I was going to continue it this weekend, but like I said, didn't happen. And now everything has changed. So I kind of have to start over anyway, because these bases may or may not change everything. I don't know yet. Hopefully the changes will be for the better. They seem to form a little easier, seem to be a little more consistent. Oh, yeah. Now, yeah, there's one here that has a little markings, but there's one that's got the creases in this handful, but you see how that's the one. All the rest, if you notice, nice and smooth. Yeah. I've gotten a lot better at that, and it's a difference so much in technique, but how much lube I'm using and the temperature of my dyes. Now, if you recall, during the winter I was using a heating pad to warm up the dyes, and well, I was warming up too much, and that was affecting the points and causing problems. And I figured that out one day. I came down and I just didn't heat up the dyes, and I was getting these kinds of results more consistently. So they say, you know, warm to the touch, somewhere around, you know, body temperature, a few degrees higher, a few degrees lower. Big difference. That sweet range really does something. Now, lube, that makes a big difference too. That's kind of a combination with that. Now, when you are seating cores, you want a good amount of lube so that it doesn't bind, because the more friction, the more excess case stretch you get, which causes, you know, case fill issues, one point forming, and, you know, little inconsistency. So you want to slide in and out nice, and it's all well and good then. Now, when it comes to point forming, it's the opposite. What you want is the minimal lube possible. What I did was, I got to where I put a thin layer on my fingers, and I would take one and I would lube it just minimally. I would run that, and then I would just grab and run without lubing the cases, just using what, after seating the cores and rolling them on a towel, using what's on them. And then as soon as I feel a little drag, then I would lube another one. And I'll go from there and just go till you feel a little drag. And that, and keeping the dyes at around body temperature, is how I started getting really nice points. Too much lube is known to cause dimpling in the points, so, you know, that's an issue. Not enough, and, you know, then you bind and you stick, and then you're breaking out the stuck bullet removal tool, and that's no fun. So, yeah, all these little things like I say, you know, I'm learning as I go, and I'm always something that it's not an exaggeration. Sometimes I don't do this for a while, I come back and something new will click, and like, oh, why didn't I think of this before? Or I go, well, I'm doing this and it's causing an issue. Maybe I don't do this that way, or you know. Eventually, all these things will become a cohesive gel of awesomeness. I'm hoping. I emailed BT Sniper and asked him because Fortune Cookie had mentioned it. BT had mentioned it before, but I didn't want to invest more money in bullets. But buying commercial jackets that haven't been made into rimfire brass yet, or rimfire cartridges yet. And I asked him for a list of his sources, because that's what he uses, and as I understand, he competes with them and does pretty well. So, finding what kind of cost is involved in more precise jackets, and from what I understand, if they haven't been formed, you don't have to anneal them. So that's a less step, one less possible issue. They haven't been re-stretched from firing, so they'd be more consistent thicknesses and lengths, and it just all comes down to how much is this going to cost additionally, versus keeping them virtually free and not match grade, but not bad for, I mean, like I said, range scrap and, range picked brass. By the time I pay for, lube and soap and lemishide and electricity, and these are somewhere around a half-cent a piece. So, and the heavy ones, because, electricity cutting them, and I'm just gonna say they're around a penny, but I think they're like 3/4 of a penny. It's even round up, say they're 1 cent a piece. No matter what, it's not bad. And Fortune Cookie can shoot 2-inch, 2¼ inch groups with them consistently. Some serious plinking ammo. Especially when, like my son, it burned through 100 rounds before I can, turn around. Yes, the answer. I just need to get him more involved in the manufacture. I've had him de-rim the cases. I need to baby step him into, doing the less precise things, and then up to it. Take some of the labor off me, and hey, because you figure 223 loading for him, 11-12 cents a round with these, versus had to buy them, or most bullets, 55 grains, are around 8 cents a piece. So, and I got time to do it. Gives me something to do. It keeps me active. I just count it as a win that way. So, if I didn't, it'd be a whole nother story. Let's see. I know there's something. Oh, yeah, here's one thing. Now, like I said, I was using the Shooter's World. Now, my first video was with the old data. Last month they updated their data. There's quite a bit more, and even for the 2 powders I use, like 5.56 loads. The old one, there was 1 load. Now there's 3 for each. So these expanding things a bit. Another 5.56, 3 more. So it uses all the different brasses, and I called the guy and I forgot to ask him what primers he's using, but I noticed on their site the other day that they're selling Fiocchi primers, so I'm guessing that that's what he's been using, but I don't know for sure. And I've got some Fiocchi Magnum primers, so maybe I need to, you know, pair them up and give that a little more test. I've been using CCI 41, so also, like, some of it, certain things, he mentions 24-inch barrel. I said, why is that the only place you mention barrel length? He said, because certain calibers, certain powder manufacturers, or well, different powder manufacturers will use different length of rifles, so you get different results. And so that's why on that, but nothing else was listed. And he said everything is a 24-inch barrel except for 5.56, which is a 20-inch barrel. And I guess there's some kind of testing standards for NATO or something like that, so that's why that is. But excuse me. But like I said, I kind of got to start from scratch again. Because ballistics may have taken a change. I'm sure they've changed a bit. So yeah, I'll roll those targets, you know, screenshots in and let you have a laugh, or, you know, hopefully not, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said, there's some 3.5-inch groups in there, and well, you know, hey, we can't all shoot like a pro, because I know I don't. I never said I was good at this. Oh, I only built the rifle last year, and yeah, I don't get to the range that often. So slowly, baby steps, get the gear together and then figure out how to use it, you know. Unfortunately, I don't have any mentors around here. I'm figuring it out on my own in YouTube videos, and without you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have a clue, and between YouTube and gun forums, I probably never would have started. I probably wouldn't have built up the courage, because, you know, it's just not a lot of people to ask. They're around here, but knowing them, finding them, you know, that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, okay, maybe into guns, but a lot of them don't reload, so, you know, no help in that respect. So yeah. Yeah, I've rambled on for 23.5 minutes. All right, well, let me kind of throw this together as I usually do, and see you in the next video. God bless. See ya. Oh, I also made new screens for my tumbler. The window screen ones were getting a little worn out, and since they're so fine, the pins, some will make it through, but the pins and the rimfire brass, which, well, has no primer pocket, you know, no flash hole for the water to flow through, they clog it right up, you know, and eventually the water just pretty much stops flowing. So I took some 1/8-inch screen and cut some new ones, And of course the pins drop through a lot more readily, but you know, do it in a bucket. And it takes a lot more for the water to stop flowing. So they're more robust, they should last longer, and yeah, hopefully all will remain well with them. Originally I built a sieve for mining berms, and while this would probably work okay for sand, the main place I mine is actually a dirt berm. It's back in the pistol area, and it's in the shade, and it doesn't dry out all that well. It clogs this stuff right up. So unfortunately that didn't work so well, but these did. And I also use it for some other stuff related. It's still handy. Alright, thought I'd throw that in because I just remembered it. Alright. See you later. Bye.